Testing. Is that even working? Hello? Yeah, that's working. Okay. Okay. So. Let's tweet about this and then let's get going. It is 9:30 a.m. on a Monday. And we're streaming some indie dev. If you were following the last stream, I had about 1 million bugs. A lot of those have been crushed. I think so, at least. I thought I fixed them late last night. And then I went to sleep, so maybe it was a dream. Just to prove it. Oh shit, wait. Let's take a look at where we are. Because I am just getting started today. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. I did not yet fix save resume. That I do have to do. So I just deleted my save. Okay. So if you remember last night we had all kinds of bugs, but now things seem to be working. Our little friend can get around the level. If I undo, I can undo all the way back to the beginning. And I can redo again all the way back to where we were. The way I got this done, finally, and I figured out all the bugs, was, if you recall, everything is moving around in a 3D grid space using the Grid World blueprint. I added, I had already had a debug thing I made at one point that would just draw boxes wherever there were, wherever there was a dynamic element. Like right now it's drawing a black box around, you can see the trigger volume for winning, which is over the lantern, which is also a trigger volume that blocks you. I need to replace that art at some point. And it drew a kind of faint dark box around each of the already blocks that you see there. And it's drawing a box around the character as well. What I changed was I have it drawing once every like 10 times a second, so I can see in real time as things update, which is really useful. I also color-coded the different limbs, so I could see what limb is in what space. All of the limbs take up the same space as the body when they're combined. She has 6 limbs, one for each side of her character. Anyway, once I had the tools to debug things, it became a lot easier to figure out what was going on and fix it. So yesterday was mostly me figuring out what I need to do to debug this and then making the tools so I could debug it. Which is pretty fun. Plus now everything looks like weird rainbows. Look at this. Haha. And all the way back to the beginning. So yeah, if you wanted a weird psychedelic game, we kind of made that. Good morning, WoW Freak. So all of those bugs were fixed tentatively. The undo and redo is tentatively fixed for one character. Again, I haven't even tried the multi-map thing yet. If you recall yesterday, we also fixed the death was broken. It looks like that's still fixed. You hit things. Can't progress. You push off of walls. You can die by accidentally pushing the wrong thing. You can undo through death. That was also broken. Yesterday I fixed a shit ton of bugs. So. Hurrah, that was fruitful. Now, I was going to... And then at midnight last night I was like, alright, let's try to fix my prototype for having multiple levels, multiple characters in level. Let's try to fix that. And I just ran out of steam. And I don't remember exactly how bad that was when I ran out of steam, but I definitely ran out of steam. So we're going to get going on that. Let's see how broken that is. So this is my debug level where I'm loading in multiple characters on different levels that I can kind of switch between. That error spew is not ideal. I should really look into that. So if I just have this one character, bam. All is well. I can switch to her. Switch to him. She can step up on him. This other character can like move over here. The whole stack can move. We can do all this crazy shit, right? Now, what happens when I undo? That's all undoing. That's pretty nice. What's going on down here? She's broken. I've noticed that before. That's not bad, actually. That's better than I thought it would be. Alright, what happens if I redo all? Let's watch this play out. Okay, yeah, shit's all fucked. That's about what I would expect. Okay, so this is our problem for the morning. That's what we're doing today. Oh, crap. I was really excited, and then I realized I had to figure out how to actually start this. Alright, isolated a problem. How do I begin? Alright. So, let's try to figure out why she can get into this state where her arms are... Oh, sorry. Save resume is still broken. Anytime I resume, it glitches. I have to load fresh. So, why is it she can get in this state where her arms are through the... There it is, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, see how her arm is through a block? And that's breaking everything. That doesn't seem to happen. I don't know. I don't know yet. I need more data. I don't think that happens when I just load the accordion level, because I've undone through that many times. But on this level, if I switch to her, extend, and then undo, it goes through the wall. So there's something about switching that's throwing things off. So... what is switching? Let's... like, what do I do when I do that? When I go to the HUD... Here's my HUD. When I click her... I save the current level modes. Save is super fucked. That's already scary. Well, it's not super fucked. I call switch to this pawn on the player blueprint. And the player. Let's switch from this pawn. Oh, okay, yeah. Track isn't loaded. Start it. This loads the level. If it isn't loaded yet. If the track is loaded, get the variables for it. I always feel like when you call switch from this pawn, I just want to pass in the new, okay. This is kludgy. I'm aware of it. Because before, I thought at some point I would want to have multiple characters, but I didn't really think it through from the very beginning. And so, when I first set up save and undo and all that stuff, there's, undo and redo and stuff. There's... Basically, it's an array of moves, and where you are currently in the array between undo and redo is saved as something called the current save index on the player pawn. And when I decided to have multiple players, obviously, I can't. I need to know where the array stops on one when I switch to the next one, so I can start the array there. Otherwise, like, redoing the first... I don't want to redo the first move for all characters. I want to have one character redo, and then the next character redo that you switch to, and then the next character redo that you switch to. And so what I've been doing is when you switch from one character to another, you pass the current save index from that character to the next character that you're switching to. So I'm not saying that's the best solution. It was the quickest way to get up and running based on what I had. It's good that it's midday, man. It's a good time for you to get stuff done. I get more done. I only get a lot done in the morning and at night. And I think I just need to embrace that and take a nap in the middle of the day. I think I'm a napper. I can't explain it, especially if I'm trying to be healthier and work out, and it's painful because I'm not good at that stuff. And I need my midday nap, man. And I can't explain it any other way. Here's what I'm gonna do. Sorry for the aside, people who are not on Twitch, who are watching this on YouTube later. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like the function that you switching from this pawn, should have a return value. That returns the current save index and just sets it like immediately. The second you switch from this pawn, I want to push where's your save? Current save index. I want this function to have a return. You know, I'm supposed to use pure functions more. Get into that later. A pure function is something where you just query something and return a variable. You don't do anything. They're kind of newer they're not that new. I just never adopted them when they came online, and now they're old and I'm still not adopting them. I gotta get more modern. Anyway. So let's push the current save index. I wonder if it'll let me spell it out. It will. Okay. Let's return that as part of this function. So in the game mode, save the current level moves. That's just dealing with a save file. That shouldn't affect us right now. Switch from the current player pawn. Let's set... That's weird. Current save index, is it not in here? I don't have that many variables, am I blunt? Oh, shit. Oh, I never store it here in the game mode. I feel like I should store it. Shit, this is gonna cause all kinds of problems I haven't thought of. So, if you undo a bunch of times, and then you switch to a new pawn, and then the new pawn starts doing things, and we don't clear the array from the old pawn, we're gonna have a bad time. Because now, say you were on move 20, and you undo to move 15, and then you switch to a new pawn, both the new pawn and the old pawn are going to have data for 15 to 20. So what am I going to do about that? When you switch characters, maybe if you've undone a bunch, maybe I remove your ability to redo. Maybe the switch clears everything after the current save index. That seems to make the most sense. Yeah. Alright, so when you switch from this pawn, oh yeah, this is my lame attempt to keep parity between them from before. Before, my first attempt was to take the current save index, and every time you save, cast to the game mode and set the current user input ID to be that. I don't know if I ever need redo. This is another thing. Like, I have it mostly for debug purposes. Whatever, I've gone this far, I'm saving it. Okay. Because it's tempting to just say when you undo, delete that index. Yeah, I'm a partner. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the triangle, man. I got a subscriber yesterday, which was weird and awesome. But I'm not like a full-time streamer. It feels weird to me. It doesn't feel weird, I just don't get it. Anyway, thanks. I get money from bits. I'll look into it later. I think a bit is like 10 cents, right? Gotta level with you, man. I think the key to Twitch and the reason why I do it is because it helps me focus, it helps me understand Twitch, because I think there will be a lot more Twitch integration in games in the future, and I just kind of want to understand it and get behind it. And I think it's good marketing, it's a good way to reach people. Reaching people is the most valuable part of all this. I do appreciate it though. Like, it's super cool. I just appreciate that you're here even more. Anyway. Thanks, guys. Okay, what was I saying? So this is my lame attempt to keep parity. I feel bad, like I've been ungrateful. I'm grateful. It's really cool. Thanks, guys. Current save index. I want to keep redo. I think when you switch characters, I will flush your ability to redo. I will remove everything beyond your current save index. Yep. Yeah, I have a whole thing on Twitch. I think microtrans and Twitch are an unholy marriage that is inevitable. I think soon people will be like, well, I can't play anymore. I ran out of, in-game currency. And then Twitch will be like, hey, donate currency to your streamers so they can keep playing. It seems like a no-brainer for me that eventually microtrans and Twitch will have a service where you can give your streamer in-game currency. Anyway. Game mode. When you switch from a pawn, let's take your current user input. I want to clear everything after a certain index in an array. People pushed back on Twitter saying that would never happen too. I disagree. UE4 array. Is there a way to clear just like from one index on? I mean, I know how to do it with like a loop, but I was wondering if there's a way. Yeah, these people are all using for loops. Okay. Well. No, not for each. Regular for. Where's an int? There we go. From here to length. Not clear. Remove. I don't know if this is inclusive or not. Inclusive. Thank you. Good. Nope. All right. So if you decide to undo a bunch, then remove all the data after your current save index and push the current save index to the game mode. Seems reasonable to me. No, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't, actually. Because sometimes I want to go around and look at different pawns as I'm redoing right now. So fuck that. Here's what we're gonna do instead. When you do a save, so if you've undone a bunch and then you've done a save, in that moment, now you can clear all the redos, because you've basically, you're like, I undid a bunch, I started something else, it's okay to wipe away the history. Yeah. It has to be on save. So, on save, let's take a look. On save, first off, just save. That's important. Then, cast your game mode. Do I want the function to be in the game mode or in the pawn? Ooh. Also, I think this function's called in a couple places. Oh, that's not the one I'm looking at. I'm looking at... What am I looking at? Wait, what? Set current user input ID. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Nowhere. I only ever call it the one time. Interesting. Like if I look at where this is called in all blueprints, it's... Oh, it's called from the player controller. On undo. And then it's called again. On the pawn, on redo. And on undo. So this should not need to be in the player controller, from what I can tell. Because we're already also calling it in the pawn. And in the pawn, save location and active sockets. If we're not suppressing the save. Oh god, where does this live? Does it live in the game mode? Or does it live on the pawn? Should a pawn be clearing the saves of another pawn? No. That doesn't seem right at all. This needs to live in the game mode. It's just weird if it's on the pawn. I can't explain why, that just feels wrong. This is going to be one of those things where like the tree deletes a player controller. Unreal gives you the ability to do too many things. I'm doing well, Javax. The game goes. Javasks. It does in fact go. Okay. The game mode is going to take... Yeah, let's just add a bool that's clear future saves. Excuse me. Something in my throat. Alright. Current save index. Alright, so if statement. Just called a branch. Okay, so set current user input ID. Just a shitty way to say the save index. Get the values. Look at all your loaded levels. For each of your loaded levels, grab the player pawn for that level. Set the current save index on that player pawn. Also, if... Let's add a reroute node so it's not hideous. If you're clearing future saves, take that current save index, get that array of user inputs and clear everything in that array after your current clear everything in that at the end of that array. That feels better to me. If you're not suppressing save. I need to come up with a language that's different for save when you save something to disk versus save when you store an input into the array. There should be like a term for that. There's probably a term for that. I just don't know. Give me a sec. I need to cough up some phlegm. Something in my throat, man. Alright. I'm gonna pretend we didn't record me just doing that. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if that's going to solve the bug, and I don't even remember the bug we're solving, so here we go. But I do know loading from a save is a bad idea, so I just deleted my save again. Alright, so here we go. The 3 levels are loaded. Right, the bug I have now is this one. We've done nothing to address this. How did this happen? Why does it only happen here? Why does it not happen? Like, if I only load that one level? I don't have that problem. This is something that only happens when you have multiple levels. So... oh shit, just in case I need to delete my save. Okay. Here we go. How do I even begin to figure this out? Well, let's start with... Let's take a look at this pawn. And let's look at what our current save index is. It says 2. Should it be 2? It's 1 now. Is it 1 for everybody? Yeah, it is. Pull this over so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Kind of makes it a pain, but... I'm just looking at the current save index. Up here I can set which pawn I'm looking at. Here's the 3 pawns I got loaded. The current save index is 1. Which is right. It's still 1. And now it's 2. If I undo... Oh, that was weird. He definitely moved, right? The one on the top? Yeah, what the hell was that? Why? Current save index is 2. I think that pawn at the top will be pawn 3. When I execute and undo. So I'm gonna figure out where I want to put a breakpoint here. I wish there was a way to... I think you can, like... watch this value. Oh, shit. I wish I could read that. Okay. The first input, which is 0, is, like, your starting location. Right? Yes. Sorry, I had a thought here. The current save index is always the one that should be empty. Maybe I'm just not deleting enough of the array when I switch. Yeah, wait. Oh, duh. Yeah, okay. This is cute. Okay, so on the game mode before, I was incrementing the current save index. I increment it, I add 1. Yeah. this is the function that adds 1 to that index, and also the function where I remove all future ones. So obviously I need to take this. Instead of going, the first index shouldn't be this, the first index should be the current save index minus 1. Because I just added 1 to say move to the next index. That makes sense. Yep. Okay. Hold on, I forgot to delete my save. I forgot that spew later. Alright. Undo is just not even... Ooh, okay, maybe. Well, that didn't work. So... Oh. Right. Okay, so this is hard to explain, but you undid from move 20 to 15. On your current pawn, you just made move 16. You want to delete move 17 to 20 on your current pawn, and you want to delete move 16 to 20 on all the other pawns. Because you don't want the other pawns to have a move at the same time you do. So... this is not enough. This is about to get weird. How do I... like, what's the most elegant way to do that? The most elegant way to do that would be to do the delete and then save. That way you're deleting 16 on for everybody and then adding 16, right? Yeah, that... it feels like what I just said made sense to me. So here. Oh, let's try it. Let's see. Take your current save index, increment it by 1. Clear everything after that. Then, because we just added 1 to that, I'm going to have you actually output... do I want you to return? I do want you to return. Return current save index. Just do it. I'm going to pull a wire out of here. Let's take this -1. Because we just added 1 to it. And then save. It makes sense to me. Sorry, I haven't been reading the chat. I'm not sure what local and external storage are. Yeah, that sounds better, actually. You were talking about what to call saving undo to a file versus saving. Yeah. I feel like I try to come up with these fancier names for things, like user input result list, and then later on I have no idea what the fuck that means. Whereas if I just called it the save index, which is how I think of it, it makes more sense in my dumb brain. There's probably like a thought to this. Is it better to do what you understand and can remember, or is it better to do the... I think on a bigger team it would make more sense to have user input result list, even if I can't quite wrap my mind around what that is. Oh god, I think I'm getting sick. Anyway, let's test this and see if that weird stuff I just saw is gone. Oh wait, delete my save file. Okay. Alright, so we did a move with him. Let's do a move with this little bugger. And then she's gonna dance. Alright, let's see what happens when we undo. Undo, undo. What? Nope. Did you crash? Oh god. Well, I escaped out of it, so it wasn't a complete failure. I did a bad thing somewhere. Did I? Wait, let's just check the logs. What am I looking for right now? For some reason the output logs always take forever to load. Good morning, May. You know what needs to exist is we need, like, people to have Unreal tips and tricks in audio form that I can listen to, so it'll just kind of drill into my mind while I'm animating and doing other things. There needs to be more podcasts that teach you things. I'm sorry, you guys can't see it. On the other screen, the output log is currently loading. Still currently loading. There we go. Oh, doesn't look like there's a spew. Maybe I was just locked in the player controller. Well, that doesn't look good. This is just too long to make sense of. I'm gonna clear this. Why does clearing a text file take this long? I mean, I know that was only a couple seconds, but this output log is clearly doing more than I think. I'm missing something with regards to what this is. Okay. Yeah, so now armed with a small amount of debug information, let's do that again. Wow, that is a lot of spew. Jesus. That's horrifying. Should really look at this output log more. On the upside, nothing's wrong now. Okay. Oh god, things are going wrong all the time. Sorry. So yeah, the key here is to just do a bunch of moves and see what happens when I undo. That worked. That worked. That didn't work. Nothing's scrolling in the log. And I'm locked out. It's almost like I hit a break point. It just... everything's just frozen. Did I hit a break point? Did I crash Unreal? I love Play in Editor, but the downside of Play in Editor is if you crash the goddamn editor. The upside, I don't usually crash. On the downside, I think I might have just crashed. And in hindsight, I thought I might crash, so it was real dumb of me to just go ahead and, you know, put this on here. Could have played standalone. Ooh, this is bad. Let's see, what are you doing? Using a lot of memory. Oh shit. Oh man, it managed to... Okay, I didn't crash the editor. Sweet. It just closed itself at some point. Usually when it does that, it's because there's an infinite loop, and it's like, hey, infinite loop detected, let me save your ass. But it, didn't give me any warning like that this time around. I'm gonna open up that output log again. Maybe it was just... couldn't even warn me because it was spewing so fast, maybe? You know, it's entirely possible it takes this long to open the output log because my output log is absurdly ridiculous with errors, which is probably not ideal. Good morning, Moeller. I didn't mean for this to get more complex. I should have just made the damn game. No, they get different lamp thingies. I haven't actually figured that part out yet. I just really wanted to add some interaction between them for the last couple levels, and so I started thinking on it, and then I came up with a billion different ideas, and I'm going to... if I can get all the bugs fixed so that they can interact, then I'm going to start thinking about things like, what if they start on one level and they have to be lowered to another, and is that fun, and is it fun if they, I think being able to fall to a lower level is boring. I think I'll make them just crash and die if they fall more than a unit. I think I'm going to make them need to lower each other and kind of push each other around. If you go back, I was pretty careful at the very beginning of the stream to demo the current problem space. So if you, when the video's up, you can go back to the beginning and kind of see like what my current thought process is. I'm talking now because, to fill in time while my absurd output log loads. I'm pretty sure this is my fault. This is typical. At Irrational, we used to have fights, about the necessity of, cleaning up your warnings, specifically in Unreal. There is the school of thought that if there's a warning, you should just assert and not let the artist play the game until they fix their warnings. But the problem there is there's a lot of warnings that are, especially in Unreal, and especially for that game, there was a lot of warnings that were fake, that were incorrect. Like, it was it would assert or would give a warning when you were doing everything right. So obviously there was mutiny and that was not allowed. And it was a common thing to go to the bar and wax philosophical about whether or not what should be an assert versus what should be a warning, and what should block the user from being able to open the game versus what shouldn't. These are the kinds of things we fight about at bars. I miss those days. Those were good fights. Yeah, there's the idea of slowing things down, especially when you get later in production, in the interest of not adding more. How do I put it? It's okay to be loose and kind of slap things into the game early on. In fact, you kind of have to. You kind of have to be a little bit reckless early on if you're ever going to get anywhere. But when you move into production, you should not adding a bug to the game initially is very good, because sometimes you add a bug to the game and then you build on it and it gets worse and worse, or you think you can do something with lighting that you can't actually do, and then you have to go back and relight all your levels. So when you should assert and when you should give a warning and things like that are important. And Unreal has some interesting warnings that are like, hey, heads up, next version, this feature you're using is going to be gone. And those are important to know if you intend to upgrade your engine. So, I don't know. What should be a warning versus what should be an assert? Fight. Wow, guys, all I'm doing is saying... This output log is very, very slow, is all I'm saying. I feel like... Yeah, I don't know. It's gotta be doing more than I think. I mean, it clearly is. There's like a... I don't know, a search string shouldn't take that long. I don't know why this is so slow. All I did was say, don't show me messages, show me warnings and errors. And it's just loading. You can watch me. You can watch me hate in real time. Man, actually takes me back. We used to fight about what should be a warning and what should be an assert. Like, that was a very, like, that was the struggle at one point in my life. Like, this was a serious, like, this was a goddamn conversation that would occur on the regular. Been using Unreal Engine 4 since the beginning. I used Unreal Engine 3 at Irrational, I don't know, like 7 years. I started with Unreal Engine 3 on Marvel Heroes back in San Francisco. It's definitely come a long way. I remember thinking Unreal Script was the shit, and that nothing would beat that. In hindsight, that was a real dumb opinion. Because it was definitely not the shit. Yeah, something's up. I don't know what's up right now. I don't know what's going on. I feel like... is something wrong just on my computer? The stream... I feel like if something was wrong on my computer, the stream would not be... Oh shit. What the fuck? Yeah, Unreal's just like in my memory right now. Maybe I need to close and reopen Unreal? Oh god. Well, it technically worked. I'm just gonna go ahead and save all real quick. That was not bad. Infinite loop detected in player pawn BP asserted during branch with the following call stack. Oh man. But I can't see the call stack because I just hit... Oh, shit. Okay, well, this is enough. There's definitely an infinite loop somewhere here in something I just added. So let's just figure that out, ladies and gentlemen. Current save index +1. Get the loaded levels, loop through them. For each pawn, set the current save index. Oh. With that, there's no way, because it just calls this function once, right? I mean, it's not going to be something where, like, I increment this by 1, and then this sets it on the pawn, which then gets incremented by 1. But this doesn't get called again. Right? I mean, I guess a really easy thing I could do is just make this a local variable. So, local current save ID. I mean, I don't feel like I should need to do this. I guess maybe I should. I mean, is it actually reaching back into the pawn each? Yeah, I mean, maybe it is an infinite loop. Take the current save index, add 1. Set the current user input. Which does set this again, but that shouldn't matter because now we're working off of a local variable. This I don't need anymore. Because I'm already doing that for all pawns. Okay. Sweet. So there's a way to be like, hey, are you gonna be an infinite loop or are we cool? Before I just run it. Tell you what, though, I'm gonna clear this log. What is up with this log? Hey Tom, I'm not actually a programmer. I'm doing visual scripting here in Unreal for the streams. I'm a technical animator, so I've been, I do things like, I usually do the tech side of animate. Well, I guess I wouldn't call it programming. I've written tools before in C# and in Python. I used to write tools for animators. I would do things like create rigs for animators. Anything that's technical animation, so working with player controllers, setting up state machines. I'm kind of like in the industry in AAA, my expertise was working with anim blending and state machines and that sort of thing. So I wouldn't call it programming. Sorry, the log just cleared. That log is unnerving in its length, and I'm just like seeing all my errors scroll through. Also, I forgot that I need to save as borked. So this stream is like a comedic bit I'm doing where programmers get to watch a dumb animator flail and try to make a game. Learning how hard making a game is, basically, in real time. Do I have expertise with mocap? Honestly, no. I've managed to avoid that. I'm super not into mocap that much. Sometimes I'm a little bit interested lately, especially in facial motion capture, and how to map that to a more cartoony character, or how to map motion capture to something more cartoony. There's things to that appeal to me, but I've never personally worked in it. I'm not really interested in hyper-realistic motion and that sort of thing. Also, hey, something better, what's up? Thanks for dropping in. As you work. Okay. Yeah. So my goal is to not have an infinite loop. What's the quickest way to test that? Let's just switch between some characters. Do a move or two. And then start undoing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's frozen. Fuck. Well. That'll give us a minute to chat again. It's still an infinite loop, huh? What's my opinion on Unity? I think it's probably a pretty serviceable engine. I know early on I was an Unreal expert. I got hired because I was an Unreal expert. I haven't really had the opportunity to explore other engines. I've dabbled a little, but the thing is, you'll never really... I'm so insanely biased at this point, it's difficult for me to be objective on my opinion of Unity. I've worked in Unreal for so long. I've reached a point where I'm just like, oh, this is how it's different from Unreal, versus... And I haven't taken the time to really dig into what the good aspects are of Unity. That's interesting, Echo. Are you, using several cameras? I always thought the cool stuff was like real-time motion capture from somebody's Kinect, if the Kinect took off, would be cool. Or real-time motion capture from somebody's webcam. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that can be done there that's interactive. I'm more interested in real-time interactive motion capture and the ways we can map that onto other things and techniques we can use. Alright, so the game crashed out. It's a runaway loop. It did a million interactions before it was like, hey, maybe let's stop. I appreciate that. Thank you for that, for saving my ass there, Epic. Doesn't player see? So, yeah. Infinite loop, huh? Interesting. Maybe... don't even... Oh, it's not going to be on the save because it was happening when we were doing an undo. I did an undo, and then there was an infinite loop. This didn't even run, so... I'm gonna stop watching this. Okay, something in here is an infinite loop. Haven't made one of those in a while. That's an exciting new bug. Alright, get the previous save. Get the previous input. Oh god, is there any way to get out of this? Add one forever? Yeah, that's an infinite loop. Look, you can even see it. Wow. Oh. Okay, sorry. So, okay. Alright, so what was I doing here? Okay, anyway. Take the current save index, subtract this temporary int, which is 2 initially. Get that. If it's an int, this is basically, this is bullshit. This is my way of saying if it's just as default values. So you can't just have a null entry in an array in Unreal. If you add something to index 20, it's gonna put in default, from what I can tell, it puts in default values for elements 0 to 19 rather than just leaving it null. So this is my way of saying, hey, are you default values? If you are, then you're useless to me. Go back to a previous save, go back to a previous save, go back to a previous save. What I need to do is go back to a previous save. Is this minus this greater than 0? There is no such thing as a negative user input. The user inputs start at 0. Yeah, might as well just do it here. This will just always be true the first time. That's not true. The first one's 0. Is it greater than -1? That feels dumb. I think this is time greater than or equal to 0. I wonder if that was my infinite loop. I have no way of verifying. I feel like that could have been the infinite loop. Strong suspicion that that was the case. Shit. Also, when removing... Where's my game mode? Okay, in this bit, when we say Remove all values. Remove all save IDs after the current save index. I need to... Should never remove save index 0. That could be another part of the problem. So get the max between that or 0. Wait, it's inclusive. That or 1, right? I definitely don't want to remove index 0. Okay. Ever. Index 0 is just there to be like, this is where the player starts. It just kind of needs to always be there. Alright, well, let's save all in case we crash again. Let's clear this log, because it'll take a minute, but... Oh, it's clear. Oh, wait. I didn't delete my save. Clear the log again. Okay, let's see here. Get some moves in. Get some moves in. Get a move in. Undo. Undo. Alright, well. Redo all. Undo all. Redo all. Redo all is definitely not working. Mostly because she's bugged out. Okay, so... What the hell did I just prove here? I don't have an infinite loop anymore, so we have that going for us. I still have the initial problem that I never figured out, which is undo specifically for the T-Bot character is allowing her to move through the walls only if she's switched to from a different character, which is insanely weird, and I don't know why that's happening yet. So that is the next thing we need to figure out. Here we go. Let's figure shit out. I've drank no water and instead 3 cups of coffee. And half a liter of soda. This is why my insides are gross. So I'm doing dishes right now. So I'm drinking soda out of the bottle, which is a new low for me. Indie dev, guys, YOLO. So, oh fuck, where do I even start? Okay, alright, I got the player pawn. Logic here. Let's, what happens when you switch to a character? Alright, you switch to her, you save out your moves, that shouldn't matter. You switch from a different pawn. You switch from... Says, hey, am I staying on a pawn? If so, attach me to it. This is just logic to make sure you should attach to it. Cool. And then return your current save index back to the game mode. The game mode freezes the camera, loads the level if it needs to for the next character that you're switching to. It's just more loading. Okay. If all pawns sync IDs, which I believe they do right now, yes. Current save index. Okay, I'm not gonna glean anything from this. I think there's a problem. What appears to be happening is she's translating correctly, but her limbs are extending when they should be retracting. Almost like she's doing the wrong... Almost like she's activating the wrong socket. So I need her to... I need to step through this. It's the only way. So the way we can recreate the problem is by having another character do a move, which we just did. Moving to her. Having her extend. And now when I undo, she should undo incorrectly, right? Let's verify. Yeah, she undid incorrectly, and you can see because of this sweet debug shit I put in last night. Check it. Her limb is through the wall. So that is our unit test. Our use case. Let's do that exact same thing again. Do this move, switch to her. Extend. Now let's take a look at absolutely everything. I think she's pawn 2. I'm watching this variable, but that's really distracting. I'm just gonna add a breakpoint and then do the undo so we can take a look. Undo. Bam, here we are at our breakpoint. So we're undoing. The move number we're undoing is 0. That just hasn't been called yet. That's incorrect. You can't undo move 0. Right? How does this work again? Undo the previous move? You could undo 2-0. Yeah, okay, that might actually be correct. Yeah, I take it back. That's actually probably right. So, you're undoing. I don't care about undo death. We're not worrying about that right now. No, this next part. Get me to here. Started here. The translation is correct. The rotation is going to be obviously correct. Five. Is that correct? 5 is the... this is incorrect, right? Yeah. The currently modified socket should not be 5, it should be 3 and 4. The opposite socket, it's flipped. Why is it flipped? The other thing that concerns me is I'm not sure if this is a problem that I would have at all times with her, or if this is a problem I will only have with the very first move, because the way we save... The knitting of the pawn might actually be the problem. These magical delays are embarrassing. There's gonna be a stream someday where I fix that. God damn. This is definitely the problem. I need to see how this is stored. So what I'm gonna do now is, before I was looking at the undo, now I'm just gonna look at the place where I actually save that. So I can see if data's getting stored incorrectly. The currently modified socket is 3. That's what I would expect. That's weird. I wonder where they make these arrays. Actors activate. Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. So all I do is I save off the current locomotion socket, and from that I get... I see. Okay. So the problem is the current locomotion socket is incorrect when I undo. It was 5 when it was supposed to be 3. Why? Well... Look, that's saving out of 3. It's obviously saving out of 3 for currently modified socket. My current save index is 4. My currently modified socket is 3. I'm going to add that breakpoint back into the undo. And I'm going to undo. Alright. It wants me to undo to move number 0, which is correct. Yeah. This has to do with how I store the undo, I think. Because after move completes, I save the new location, the new rotation, what move was used, etc., etc. And so I go and I get the previous move to figure out the location rotation in most things, but I need to get the current move for the input, and I probably need to get the current move for the currently modified socket as well. Womp womp. Looks like I go back in time. It's a bit kludgy, but in order to store it all in one thing, I usually go back in time, and apparently I set the currently modified socket from the previous one to the next one. Seems like a real dumb idea, but apparently that's what I was doing. I thought I did something... Oh, God. Yeah, okay. So I had initially... Edit previous safe data with new variables is how I got around this in the past. Which is basically like... Go to the previous save and tell it... Okay. So when I undo a move... This is dumb, but whatever. When I save a move, I save it at the moment that it is done. When I undo a move, I get the user input that created that move and some other variables. And then I look at the previous save, and I'm like, but where were you, location-wise and rotation-wise? And I get most of my information from the previous save. In an attempt to store everything I need in one place, I started taking the currently modified socket, which is the socket that you're going to extend, and I would save it on the previous, in the previous entry in the array. What's real dumb, like if you really want to hate me, is I do this only for these two variables, and there's a third variable, which is the actual user input, where I don't bother to do that. Where instead I just get it and set it right here. So in this array, there's 4 variables I need from one part of the array, and the rest of the variables I need from the previous index in the array, and my solution is completely different for 2 of those variables versus 2 of those other variables. So this is just all kind of dumb, actually. It's all really kind of dumb. I think what I'm gonna do is this. I think I'm gonna pick one solution and do it for all of them, and then I'm gonna delete that weird... I like the solution of just save everything when it makes sense, and I'm already looking at 2 entries in the array, and I'll just do that all in one function. You'll see. Hopefully. Or you won't. Whatever. I know how to fix this. I'm not the best teacher, but the input socket... Oh god, did anything I said right there make sense at all to anybody? I'm solving this in 2 ways. I like one of the solutions better. I'm going to move over to just using that solution. The solution I'm using is for certain variables where I need them, like what was the thing that was hit, I'm just going to get those from the current save index, and all the other variables I'm going to get from the previous one. Rather than this bullshit function, which was pushing information onto a previous save index so that when I queried it later it was in the right spot. Because that was dumb. And this might break everything, but you know, I'm willing to take the risk. Today. So the position you translate around and the currently modified socket I need to just set. Set trans around position. Set currently modified socket. Okay. And I'm going to test this not even on a more complicated map. I'm going to go back to a simpler map just to make sure I didn't horrifically break everything. So we're not even going to load into the complicated maps. Let's just check it out here. Oh, sorry, I still have a breakpoint in here. Okay. Undo. Still have a breakpoint in here. Undo. Oh yeah, that's hella not working at all, isn't it? Interesting. Cool. Okay. Alright, well, what did I not think through here? What have I not considered? Maybe the time at which this is saved is more important. I was weirdly confident that would work, considering. So I was doing here was saying the currently modified socket. Alright, so I save where's my save? And I'm not needing all this. There's a nightmare scenario going on last night. Alright, so I save at the end of a transform. The I need breakpoints and shit. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know why that didn't work. I do, however, know I'm going to delete my save just to eliminate any possibility of that. Oh, I don't know what I'm waiting for. What do I want to look for here? I guess I want to see. Let's add a breakpoint when the undo is called. When the main. Set a breakpoint here. And then let's undo. Okay, we hit it. You're undoing back to your initial location, correct? Input type to undo is 1. Currently modified socket is 4. Excellent. That's actually accurate, yeah. We want... The way you got to here was by doing 3 and 4, so when you reverse, we'll pull those in, and 5 will push out. That's correct. Shit. Why are you not working? Let's get further down. Let's look at, like... Get me to about here. Wait, why are you only modifying? Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry. Excuse me. So, yeah, I was a little bit sloppy. When I make this array, the initial thing I want is to be this currently modified socket. I was pulling off with something that was no longer getting called. So, yeah. That should fix that weirdness. Oh, thanks for subbing, man. You are my second sub. I am very new to streaming. I haven't done any of the stuff that you do for people that sub, but I will get that done. If you want, you can let me know, what do you call it? What you want for the little icon thing. I'm taking advice on that at the moment. Okay. Hey, maybe now things just work? Let's find out. I'm just gonna do a bunch of stuff, and then I'm gonna undo. Sorry, I still have breakpoints in. I'm just gonna remove those. And undo. That looked like it worked. Ooh, redos. Whoa. Redo didn't work. Redo is now not working. Alright, well. It's silly. Let's figure out why she was dancing, shall we? I imagine because I'm no longer... I feel really good about not having this function. I always thought it was ugly and gross. I'm just gonna delete it. Now it's gone. I'm gonna clean up this. Is there something here I needed to get rid of? Nope, that's gone too. This is so much simpler. Okay. I mean, it broke redo, but I bet we can fix that pretty quick. I'm confident. Shit, I'm no longer confident. Redo is pretty simple. Why was that broken? Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, I'm doing the same thing I was doing for undo. For certain variables, obviously, I'm undoing. Get the previous index. To figure out other variables, like the starting location and things like that. Because when you undo, you're going from one location to another location. So I'm like, okay, where's your end location? I need those variables. Where's your start location? I need those variables. Anyway, I just need to change where I'm getting some of these variables. Specifically, the position you transform around and the currently modified socket, which is the socket that you're extending and or retracting. Well, this is the socket that you're extending. Ooh, wait. Actually, don't need to set this. For one thing, because the redo will figure that out. When I redo, I just simply redo the user input. The socket to activate probably just needs to come from this array now. It's actually cleaned up my redo, if I'm understanding this correctly. Which makes sense. When you redo a move, I have everything I need in that one part of the array. This is that function I just deleted. I feel really good about deleting that function. That was always a stopgap. Forgot to delete my save. 1 second. Fuck yeah, man. That looks like it's working. Shit. Alright, good. Good. Life is good. Hey, good morning, mocap. What's up? Alright. God. Okay, don't get too excited. Let's delete my save and let's actually go to a harder map, shall we? See what's happening with multiple characters, because I could have just broken everything still, I don't know. So here's a new multi-level map. Alright. 3 levels at the same time, here we go. This character does stuff. This character does stuff. This character does stuff. This character steps down onto this character. This character moves. Alright. What the hell's gonna happen now? Let's find out. Undo, 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 undo. Guys, this is looking great. Holy shit. Redo all. Oh. Damn it. How did I lose redo? Still, I mean, it technically worked. way too much fun, guys. Okay. Undo all. Dance, bitches. Oh, that wasn't right. That didn't actually work. Some shit went weird there. How was I redo all? Nothing. That was a weird lag. Oh god, redo all. Oh, interesting. Shit. Redo all only redoes the moves that's on the current pawn. Well, that's weird. Alright. I'm just happy that shit's not super broken today. It's the small victories. Yeah, I haven't even begun to think about redo, that's right. That was gonna be my big thing this weekend, but I got bogged down with all the bugs. Okay. So... Right. When you undo, call undo on the player controller. I haven't even bothered to refactor the redo to be from the player controller. So when last we left this off, I don't know why I pulled that off. I added undo and undo all to the player controller rather than the player pawn because I was moving from a system where all undo and redo was saved in the pawn, and now there's multiple pawns, so I needed to move it to the player controller. So now I need to do the same thing or redo. I'm gonna have call redo. I have a custom event called call redo. I'm gonna copy a lot of what's going on here. I don't actually have an input action for redo. On the keyboard I hit U. For redo I always use the UI. Should probably have a key binding for that. What should the key binding be? Let's see. Where's all this stuff? Project settings. In my... input. I'm going to create a new input called redo. And the reason you do this is so that you can say if it's a controller, this button is calls redo. On the keyboard, this button calls redo. Having bindings, also you can change the bindings around. This bindings panel is super powerful and important. By default, for now, I'm just going to say it's the J key. That makes no goddamn sense, but whatever. J key. Sure. And we'll just save that. Yeah. So if I call the custom event call redo, or if I use the action event redo from an input action, I think I'm doing it on release of the key. Oh, I'm usually doing it on pressed. I'll be consistent. When you press the redo button, whatever that button is, there may not be a redo button. I don't know, I'll think about it. cast to the game mode. If we're all pawns sync save IDs is just a bool that I'll change at some point when I figure out how I'm actually gonna say these levels all go together versus this is a level with one pawn. All pawns sync save IDs. Alright, cast the game mode. Find all the loaded... If it's a more complicated map, find all the loaded levels. Those levels are a map, which is a dictionary, that just maps a level track to the pawn. Basically, I'm getting all the pawns. I'm saying for each player pawn, go into your save array and redo the next user input. Redo the next thing in your save array. Good. Then, so this will be redo. And then for redo all, very similar. Custom event called redo all. I think I literally, what I called the undo one was call undo all. So yeah, this will be called call redo all. Get all loaded levels. If it's a complicated level. Oh shit, by the way. It should be redo previous. If it's not a complicated level, just do redo all moves on the only pawn that's loaded. If it's a level with multiple sub-levels, and I need to sync the save IDs, get all the sub-levels, and for each pawn, redo all moves. Oops, shit. Just pull it off of this. Redo all moves. Which is... The hilarious thing here is it's not actually waiting for one pawn to finish before it starts in the next pawn. It's just doing them all, and because there's going to be delays for the elements of the array where there's no information, it looks like it's happening in concert, even though it's not. Just kind of funny if you think about it. Not really funny at all, but you know. It's kind of dumb if you think about it. Redo all. Okay, now on my HUD, rather than doing this, I get the player controller and I call redo on the player controller. And the redo all button calls redo all on the player controller. Okay. Shit. I just compiled them in the wrong order. Compile the player controller first, because we just added these. And save that. And then my HUD will be able to compile without difficulty. Alright, let's see what we get. Let's first destroy our save file. There. Alright. Oops. Step up. Alright. Alright guys, moment of truth here. In our little tower. Read you all. Ooh. Yeah, that was correct. Let's undo all. Redo all. Well, it was cute. It was an attempt. It was something, right? Okay. So that didn't quite work. Alright, I'm gonna go hit the restroom real quick before I dig into this further. I'll be right back. Start drinking soda out of a glass like a human being. Alright guys, so undo looks pretty solid. Redo looks pretty broken. I don't even know where to start. Or if I'm still streaming. I am. Okay. So, I'm still streaming. Okay. Okay. Where to start? If I stay with one character, first off, I just can't handle how bad the lighting is if I don't switch characters, so that's not gonna happen. Concerned about that spew. That undo works. Redo seems to work. This needs to be a death state, by the way. This is a bug. If you push off, you should die. Yeah, why don't you die? Wait a minute. Maybe we should fix that bug. It's a more important bug, in a way. I think for the game right now, I want to set it so that if you... And I'll need to use the art to explain this later, but if you ever fall, you fall to your death. It's like... What was that game? Or that TV show with like the soda and the french fries and shit, or anytime something hit the floor it exploded. That's what it is. That's what this game is. So if you just push off and you're not landing on a friend, you die. Like I'll break you in some way. So, but for now I just need lose state. I don't need to do the animations for how you break and stuff. So she fell there. That was a fall, but it didn't look like a fall. She just kind of stepped down. Why? Let's solve that. That's a big problem. How much... Oh god, I'm just really happy that we got rid of that one function. It's irrational how happy I am about that. It's like the first time this project actually cleaned up something that was broken. Or like, that was just hideous. Okay. This was an extension she did. She did an extension. This is the bulk of that. The extension pushes the body. Find out what your target index is. So the grid ID that you're moving to, theoretically, if everything goes right, adjust it down to the ground. Is there ground collision? Interesting. So long as it's within 3 units, I guess I just don't care right now, and that's why. Yeah. I need... When you adjust down to the ground, if you wind up falling at all. Like, if your ID should not change at all. Like, what I want to do is I want to say, hey, here's the ID where I am in the 3D grid space. Adjust down to the ground. And if that ID changes at all, then you've fallen. Bam. Done. Good morning, Sedukan. Or I guess good afternoon at this point. Oh, maybe that'll just fix that bug. Maybe it'll introduce new bugs. Who knows? Let's find out. I almost certainly didn't think that through all the way. Okay, so she should fall to her death. Good. Yes, excellent. Good, good. That is what I wanted. No sloppy bullshit. Okay. I know that introduced other bugs that I will discover later, and that'll be fun. I should comment that. I'm glad you like it, Sedukan. Sedokun. What do I want now? Right, now let's get undo and redo working again. Because they are clutch. I just remembered I use redo for... rather than saving out the world state, I just redo all the moves when I load in. So, that's how resume works for our game here. So, kinda gotta get redo to work. Or really think about how my shit works right now. Guess I could save out the grid world. I don't know. Fucking shit. I don't know. Okay, well, I'll think on that more later. Alright, so undo, 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 undo. This all looks great. Start redoing. That, see that? That was definitely wrong. That's definitely wrong. This is all very wrong. And now you're dead. What do I even... It's so aggressively wrong, I don't even know where to begin. But it definitely works in the simpler levels, right? Like, just sanity check this. If I go to a basic level, undo all. Yeah, okay. Okay. Good morning, Aubrey. Good afternoon, Aubrey. Thanks, man. This is my little passion project. I'm kind of in love with it. Yeah, it's definitely... Okay. So, I'm glad you've been following along, actually, if you said that. Or you're just really good at guessing. Yeah, it's definitely calling the wrong... What is it definitely doing? Well, if there's only one character, it's working. Redo next user input. Yeah, I'm probably not pushing the correct ID onto the pawn. That makes the most sense. Like, I'm probably not pushing the correct current save ID onto the pawn. And to be fair, I'm not... I don't seem to ever be doing that, so... I don't know why undo works so well, considering I don't do that for undo either. But I should definitely do that. Let's get the current player pawn. Get... Wait, no, isn't there a function for this? Set current user input ID. What this does is it gets every pawn, it says, it sets the user input ID, and optionally it removes all future IDs. Okay, yeah. So... You know... I might change this to be called sync current user input ID and always get the current pawn's user input ID. Always get the current pawn's input ID. No. Never mind. No. Just talked myself out of that in my own head. Okay. So, get the current player pawn. Get your user, save index. For the game mode, input ID, what the fuck was that function called? Game mode, set current user input, God. Okay, so make sure they all have the same input. Let's also look at radio. How long are we waiting for here? Oh, good God. Yeah, that makes sense. If every pawn is incrementing the current save index, then, and there's 3 pawns, obviously, it'll increment it 3 times. Yeah, we can't increment the save index here. That makes no sense. Right, okay. I need to increment the save index on the player controller. Or I could... What do I do for undo? Set current save index. That's when I initialize. Alright, so you only update your own save index. Someday there'll be a refactor where there won't be a unique save index for each pawn. There'll just be one on the player controller that is always called, rather than doing this weird thing where I keep syncing them. That'll be a better world. Alright, let's test. That should fix some bugs. Hey, Tink Dunk. Alright, let's see what we got here. She's gonna hop up there. They're gonna dance a little. Let's go up here. Maybe he's moving around. Oh God, what was that? That's a new bug. I'm not even gonna worry about that bug yet. We'll figure that out in a minute. But yeah, let's see what happens. We'll undo all the way back. What was that? Oh, shit's just way broken. We've both undo and redo now. No, ironically, redo looks better. Kinda. Weird. Where to start? Okay. This is supposed to be one of the hardest levels, Sedukan. I'm working on some of the stuff that's like a little bit further into the game, which is requiring a lot of refactoring. The earlier levels, which I'm gonna test now to see if, oops, sorry. I'm actually gonna test some of the earlier levels to see if I have to keep verifying as I change things that, the problems I'm seeing are coming from having multiple levels streamed versus just one. In the beginning, when I started this, all the puzzles were just one character moving through one kind of little area, right? And you'd have to figure out how you were gonna get there without falling off the world and dying and things like that. Whoa, shit's all borked. But like what the hell was that, right? That looks like the slow-mo this shit. 0.1. Hey, wait, what? What'd I do? Slow-mo 0.1. Undo, redo. Alright, so my undo is it's the trans around position. Okay, so there's two ways to translate a character. One is if it's moving in a linear fashion, a lerp, because it's pushing against a wall. It just moves from point to point. The other is a slurp around a position that happens when the character is rotating. And it looks like the slurp position is not getting saved properly, which is the position is called the trans around position. And if you're watching earlier in the stream, you know I changed that, and it's possible I need to go back to the world where I set that. Here. It's possible I'm getting it from the wrong index. Also, my resume from save is borked. Okay. So let's undo. That we're seeing a pop, right? Like I'm not the only one seeing this. Oh, that looks pretty smooth. Let's redo all. Watch it in slow motion. I mean, there's supposed to be a little bounce when she lands on her keys. That's normal. Okay, yeah. So that's fixed. Okay. Alright, what other bugs do we got going on here? Yeah, here, I'm gonna type in the Unreal Engine, you type in exactly this, slow-mo, and then a number. So slow-mo 1 will give you 1. If you need to speed up, like you're testing something that happens much later in the game and you need to progress the game tick very quickly, you can go up to, I mean, you could technically go up to slow-mo 1000 if you want to. If you want to slow it down, you go slow-mo like 0.1 or you get to increments. It's a multiplier by the game tick. And thanks, I'm glad you like the game. I'm thinking maybe I'll dedicate the afternoon to putting together some Blocktober stuff. Because it is Blocktober, and my buddy was like, why aren't you doing that, you dumb person? No, he didn't say that. He was like, maybe you should do that. Oh shit. So yeah, what did I break here? Oh god, right, of course. I think I wrote a note earlier where I'm like, this is probably breaking shit I haven't thought about. This would be what it's breaking. Okay, cool. So now we know. So, right. Alright, I should figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, so when you retract a limb, are you retracting the limb that you stand on? That's what this is. It's like, hey, are you extending or retracting the limb that you stand on? If you are extending the limb you're standing on, extension pushes body by this extra Z height. You could be moving up or down a certain amount. Otherwise, you're moving an X and Y a certain amount, and your extra Z delta is from... What the hell is even this? Predict collision on extend. So there's something like, if you're extending a limb 2 units, it extends through the first grid ID before it hits the second one, and then it starts to push the whole self. So you're welcome, Belly. So that's fine. Where is this extra Z delta coming from? Oh. What does this do? Okay, so this predicts collision when you extend a limb. Take a look at all the sockets you're modifying, everything that's being extended. Look at how, at the max length it'll be when it's extended. This is the delta between the unextended length and the max length. Find the grid index at that position. The fuck? Turn grid tile input. Okay, start from where you are. Look at where you're moving to in X and Y. That's your start index. Your start index is the body, yes. Your end index is that. Okay. You know, I'm just looking for... Do I ever adjust you down to the ground? Hmm. There is absolutely no actual physics collision in this game. I'm doing line traces to see if I'm entering or exiting certain grid tiles, and then if I enter a grid tile, I have a blueprint for that stores all the actors in a given grid tile, and they have a property on them that is blocks player or doesn't block player. So it's like a really dumb bullshit collision system that I made that's very simple. Because I'm not a programmer and I have an irrational fear of collision. I'm actually using the physics collision system in Unreal. I mean, part of it is like my full-time job is often so this is a project I do 3 days a week, and I have a full-time job that we're currently, obviously I founded the Molasses Sled, and at work I do mostly animation and things like debugging animation trees and ragdoll physics and things like that, and I'm wrestling with some physics stuff at work right now, and I just didn't want to come home and also wrestle with the same goddamn problems. So a lot of this project is what's something that's fun and interesting and that I really want to do and that I really love, because I'm kind of in love with this game, that won't burn me out because it's the same bullshit I'm dealing with at work. And that's why my friends heckled me. They're like, you're an animator and there's no animation in your dumb robot game. And I was like, shut up. That's the point. That's the joke. Anyway, yeah, I'm an animator pretending to be a programmer on Twitch, #programming. That's what this is. And I was hoping people would come here and laugh at me and maybe I'd learn something. It's been pretty fun so far, so I got no regrets. So, here we go. Oh, did you see that from earlier? I do have that. I don't think that'll help me right now. I do have #programming on this stream, right? It's also game development, chill streams, and programming. Hi, Anyori. Thanks for swinging by. Also, I've learned a lot about Twitch since doing this. I have opinions about Twitch now. Not that I haven't learned enough. I still haven't made the little things you guys need. Add quotation marks, be cute. I like it. That would be cheeky. Alright, guys, hold on. You're distracting me with your ridiculousness. Dink donk. Thanks for swinging by again, by the way. I like that it's always the same people in here because that makes me feel like I have friends, which is a nice change of pace from my real life, where I sit and animate in a sad basement alone. I love my coworkers. I like heckling them. We're very mean to each other. What the fuck was I trying to fix before I got on the sidebar? Hey, I'm glad you like it, Husky. Oh, I was thanking you earlier for subbing. You're the second person to sub, dude. Yeah. That's cool. I got subs now. I'm like a fucking pro. Yeah, man. If you want one of the little, like, pictures, I think, yeah, I don't know how to use Twitch either. That's cool. Me neither. Yeah, I don't know how to do anything. Pressing buttons does seem to be the key. Alright. Guys, I forgot what the problem was. problem. Yes. The z delta comes from here. Okay, so what I was doing was I was adjusting down to the ground. And then I was adding... I was adjusting down to the ground. And then I was adding the height back in. Why would that stop working? Right, yeah, of course. Okay, so okay, so what I really need to do is these two nodes do the exact same thing, by the way. They both take z delta, which I'm gonna clean this up a bit. I have a theory that I don't need these nodes at all. It's a weird theory, but we're gonna go with it. I'm just gonna see if this works. If I understand what I'm doing at all. I should just be able to plug the z delta in here. I think this was from a more complicated time when I was going to allow you to fall down to a lower level. And I was just like, this is simultaneously hard and not fun. Well, now I've got a huge spew, so that's terrifying. Uh-oh. Alright. What the fuck did I just do? Oh, well, yeah, because now I'm pulling from the wrong grid index. Oh, wait, what is this? Okay. Get rid of save. do you feel that way, huh? You felt that you should fall to death. Why? Because adjusting the grid height to the ground. I don't know. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Did I make a save? Sorry. Fixing save resume is on the list. Let's add a breakpoint here. And take a look at what we're doing. Just fast forward to there. Okay. So this is the output ID. Oh God, of course. Okay. So rather than see if these are equal, what I need to do is see if the amount that the so the pill, the pawn, the character is the body. And if it's standing on a limb, obviously it's going to be above the ground. So what I really need to do is see if the ground collision, first off, is there ground collision? And if there is the ground collision further than your z delta, the amount that you're off of the ground? Wait a minute, is that right? Find out. Yeah, I'm sorry. So find out the amount that you are from the ground, if that is greater than the length of your limb, or if this is false, if there's no collision at all, if either of these things happen, you should fall. And then I can just actually probably get rid of this if statement. I'll just set the bool fall to be if either of those things are happening, otherwise that'll be true. There's a lot of code we're getting rid of. We're going to cut all of this. It's about to get way smaller if it actually works. Yeah, if there's ground collision, how do I put it? I think I have a check in there that'll just reverse that. I will test that case. That's a good case too. Let's remove this breakpoint for now. Oh shit, what have I done? And then resume play. Shit. What have I done, guys? This is all working a second ago. Alright, okay. Well. Alright, why did I have things the way I had them? Let's think this through a little bit more. So, before... So all I should get is, there should be zeros for x delta, y delta, and z delta. Let's step through it. Let's just step through it. That'll be... Why think when we can just add breakpoints? Oh, breakpoints are beautiful. Wait, let me make sure. I'm just gonna kill my save file, because that save files can only add problems at this point. Alright. So, if I recall, this is working. Yes. Okay, so you can, stepping up on a limb is working just fine. Cool. Let's add a breakpoint to the beginning of this logic and see what's going on here. Alright. Take the body grid ID, which is you and the yellow. That's your pawn, your pill, your position is actually the box. My x delta and y delta had better be 0. Good. My z delta is 2. So I'm moving you up. That's a dumb thing to do. No wonder I'm having problems. Yeah, I think I might have had this. You're always either pushing up and down if you're extending the locomotion limb, which is handled over here, or you're pushing in an x and y over here, in which case you don't need any extra z delta. I think I had this. There was some other bug I was fixing by adding this. I wish to God I had written a comment so I know what bug it was. Because I don't know right now. But there's definitely never a case. You know what? This is on a stream. I can come back later and look at this video if this breaks things. What the fuck is the case where the extension pushes your body zero? Oh, that's a lot of cases actually, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now what? Let's see. Okay, so your input index and your output index should be the same. 2504, good. Sorry, 25408, 25408. We're gonna take that. We're gonna adjust it down to the ground. Z delta is 2. This should be... Oh, yeah. Yeah, because now I'm not passing how far off the ground you're allowed to be. Fuck. That's why I was passing that. Interesting. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I still need this. It is all starting to make more sense now. Why I did things the way I did, but I still don't like them. If your distance from goal... I don't want this. So... what this is saying is if you hit a wall before your arm gets to its goal location, then push the body backwards. So like if you start extending the limb and you hit a wall, push back against the wall. That's what this is doing. This is saying what it should push back in X and Y. If you don't hit a wall, don't worry about it. don't move the body at all. Extension doesn't push body in X, Y, or Z. I like that because that's pretty clean. The next thing back here, when I run the script that actually like, or I run this function, this bit here that actually does things, I take where the pill is, I adjust it in X and Y, and if I've adjusted the limb up or down, the limb you're standing on up or down, I move you in Z as well. You'll never move in more than one direction. You're always moving in either X, Y, or Z because the limbs only ever extend in those cardinal directions. Or in those, yeah. Now I need to check and see if you should fall through the world. So like if you've accidentally pushed yourself off the world, I want you to fall to your death. And that's where I'm taking the goal location for the body and I'm adjusting it down to the ground. I'm saying, hey, is there collision beneath you? And if there is the number of grid units you have to go through greater than your limb length, where your limb length is, if you're extended, this looks really ugly, I swear I'm going to clean it up in a second. Hold on, let me just, for the sake of my sanity here. I'm going to remove breakpoint. If ground collision. Ground collision is false, you just fall. Fuck it. If you have ground collision, then we start checking for things like the amount that you are up in Z is greater than extend length. I need to switch based on a bool. Is that like a select? I'm pretty sure that's a node that exists. Select, yeah. Alright, yeah. If the limb is extended, extend length. If it's not, unextend length. Is your delta in Z, the amount that you are off the ground, greater than that number? Because you could be standing on a limb that's 1 unit long, you could be standing on a limb that's 2 units long, you could be standing on a limb that's 0 units long. And that changes based on if it's extended and what the length is for that. So, I think that'll solve that. Okay, yeah. So if this is it, then also fall. So if ground collision, or if you're hovering off the ground. And yeah, I think I can get away with not having this if statement still. Haha. Look at how hideous this is. Oh my god. I will delete all this, I swear. It should technically work. The robot doesn't care that it's ugly. The thing that compiles this and makes it code and makes the game go doesn't care. I'm sorry I've been reading chat. Has anybody been losing their minds here? No, good, okay. Okay, let's see that. Oh shit, sorry, I still have breakpoints in there. I need to pull this off so I can get rid of my breakpoints. Now. Can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, guys. What the fuck is this? Weird. Okay. Trombone. And now you just fall through the world for no reason? Sorry, I didn't mean to be angry. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed. At a breakpoint. So I've broken a new thing. Something new I haven't considered yet. So, body grid ID. This should be, you're pushing up, so this should be 0, 0. I imagine this is 2? Yes. So you're pushing up 2 units because you're standing up on this limb. That's fine. Oh, I already know what the problem's gonna be. I bet this is false. Wait. Yes. You're set to fall. And you're set to fall. For 2 reasons. One, I was supposed to set this to be a knot. And second, is extended is set to false right now, I bet. Can't prove it. Whatever, I know the problem. Because it's not extended yet. That's the point. We're extending it. So what I need is... Wait, how did that work over here? Maybe just get the opposite? Whatever. Ground collision. Start the opposite. Now I'm second guessing myself because it did work over there. Maybe the only problem was that this was not a knot. So if there is no ground collision, or if the length of the limb, are you extended at this moment? No, you shouldn't be. I basically need the opposite. I think, shit. No, shit. Oh, shit. Shit. I know I made it so goddamn complicated now. Because I may or may not be extending the fucking limb you're standing on. Oh, God. Alright. I'm sorry, past Gwen. I forgot why you did the things you did, and now it all makes sense again. This was not needlessly complicated. It was complicated for reasons. I shouldn't have doubted you. I am still gonna aggressively change this. And here's how. Okay. What I'm gonna do is... Okay, so to explain the problem. If you are pushing off of a limb that is not extended yet, so you're at your unextended length, which is gonna be like 0 in this case, which is obviously going to be greater than 2. Or sorry, it's obviously going to be less than 2. So what I need to do is I need to add in what you're changing the z delta. Because if you're not standing on the limb or altering that limb, then I need to know how far you are off the ground, if you're off the ground at all. If you are altering that limb, then I just need to add in whether the -2 if it's going down 2, or the +2 if you're going up 2, or whatever it's going to be. Except this is never a negative. Fuck. And why the hell not? It should be. In the new world that we're making here. Where we don't adjust to the ground. In the new world where we don't adjust to the ground, this actually should be like this. God, I'm about to completely destroy and break this game. I have regrets at this moment. Should have never gone down this rabbit hole. But this is cleaner. This is a better world. It will be. If it works. We're never adjusting to the ground. We're saying, what is your... Yeah, okay. What is your body grid ID? Getting the way it's changing in X, Y, and Z. And then you should be in the right position regardless. Then we adjust down to the ground, and this is a collision check. Let's see if things work. If this works, it's gonna be a goddamn miracle. Sorry, I have to remove all those breakpoints I added from before. Okay. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, that part works. Yeah. Okay. Alright guys, we have a video game here. Alright, alright, alright. Dance. Sick. Alright, cool. Yeah, alright, that looked like that kind of worked. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna clean that up, but first I'm gonna make sure it actually works on a more complicated map. Oh god, hey guys, sorry, I'll start reading chat real quick. I have a big idea. From my perspective, it'd be better to have a function that be triggered once movement is complete. Function triggers traces for ground below each cell of the bot and picks the lowest 2. Moves the bot by this distance. Oh, Sedoken. I am seeking out an audio person to collaborate with. If I can't get in touch with Bonnie, which I should totally get in touch with Bonnie, but yeah. I don't know why. I'm procrastinating on that. I need to reach out to Bonnie again. I'm procrastinating on it because I feel like I haven't completely figured out the game yet. And once I have it all in my head, I'm most of the way there. I figured out some of the earlier puzzles. I haven't figured out for these multi-platform puzzles what will be fun yet. I did a bunch of stuff. I was playing around with like moving to a beat at one point. And I had one playtester play that, and he was kind of like, this sucks. I've played around with some different ideas for how the game changes later on and as you get through the middle of the game. And this is my new exciting idea in my own head. I'm in love with this. This is the idea that there's multiple levels, and that the robots have to kind of help each other to get to different goal points. But I want to do this and I make sure it's fun. And then once I feel like I have something, I'm going to start reaching out to collaborators. My biggest collaborator, the only one probably, being a musician. Hopefully Jim Bonney. If I can convince him that this is really cool, maybe he'll work with me. He said he has a project he really wants to work on too. And we were talking about doing like a trade for time kind of thing. What was I testing here? I've already forgotten. Oh yeah, this guy. This guy was hella borked. Well, Fall to Death still clearly works. There's a lot of bugs. Like I need to... One of the things I was going to do today, if I had time, which I don't, is a new camera system that allows you to kind of pivot the camera around your current character and really get a better idea of what's going on in 3D space, because it's hard to read right now what is going on. I have no trouble doing it. I found other animators have no trouble doing it. But your knowledge of spatial awareness in 3D is actually pretty tested, apparently, by this particular game. I don't want to stress people out, man. I am falling in love with my own game. What I want to do... Okay, so challenge mode time. I want her to be able to retract her limb, which should lower the guy on the top. And then he has to get to a goal that's over here. That's my, like, dumb idea for how to make this puzzle weird and fun. I'm glad you guys like it. It's been a very positive experience being on Twitch today. Okay, I think I unbroke everything that I broke. I think I should check in. Oh, well, I'm not gonna check in until I clean this up. Jesus. Okay, let's that's just embarrassing. Make this gone. Make this gone. Make this gone. This got a lot cleaner though. Look at all this shit. This was a shit show before. Today's a good day. Let's comment this in a way that's a little more appropriate so I can come back later. Determine test if you should fall after move. No longer need these. Look at how much cleaner this is. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my god, that was the first time I've like refactored. This is the first day I streamed something where I actually cleaned shit up. Usually it's just me doing horrifying things that I regret and committing basic sins against folder structure and I don't know. I'm not saying this is like well done, it's not. But If you've been following my other streams, I've done some pretty horrific things. Are we modifying the socket we're standing on? If not, are we modifying... Test if her is modified socket hitting wall and pushing body. Bam. Deal with it. Okay, how these boxes are getting smaller. This is the way it would have looked if I knew what I was doing from the beginning. Okay. So much less. That's satisfying. What is... Everybody does that thing where you put in an O and then a slash. What does that mean? I'm old. I'm gonna Google that. O backslash. No, that's not a thing. I think I just pissed off Google. 07? What's that website for people that are old? Wait, why doesn't Google understand this? Salute. An emoticon meant to resemble the act of saluting another person. I don't see it. What? Oh, I do see it. Oh, that's adorable. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, if it's a lowercase L. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Yeah, I take it. Cool. Hi. Oh, and it's a little person. Oh, how did I never see that before? That's cute. That's really, really cute. Wow, guys. Hey, this is great. Okay. I'm in a really good mood. It's 1 o'clock, so it's time for me to get lunch. I'm going to check this in. And then after lunch, there's a million different things I could do. I'd like to keep streaming, I think. For just a little bit after lunch, at least. I think what I should do is put together a GIF for, Blocktober. I think that's the right thing. And I'll, like, hit you guys up to tell me what looks cool. And we'll put something on Twitter for Blocktober. Because I haven't told anyone I'm making this game. The only people that know I'm making this game are you fine people. Like the 30 people that regularly rotate through my Twitch channel. Which is great. I love you guys. But, you should probably, like, I don't know, marketing the thing. So, not marketing. I don't know. I want to see if people like the game. I want to see what people have to say. I want to put some shit out there and see what the world thinks and if I should keep doing this. So, that's the goal for after lunch. I'm gonna go figure out what I'm gonna eat and then eat it, and then I'll be back. So yeah, thanks guys. I said that and then I forgot how to end a stream. There you go. Later.